A September morning in New York. A Tuesday. 7:30. The city, probably the busiest and most vibrant in the world, is waking up to a normal day.
That time of the morning, you have millions of people, quite literally, coming in to Manhattan, which probably at least doubles in size or triples in size during the day. And so these people are coming in on trains, they're coming in on the subway, and at that time of the morning is when they're arriving at work.
My youngest brother, Rory, I know was supposed to have had a meeting in the World Trade Center. My eldest brother, Brooks Newmark, would have been over there, went over, should I say, to New York. And my sister, Shane, lives and works in New York.
Tara's brother Rory is one of 50,000 people who work in the World Trade Center at the heart of New York's financial district.
You look at the top of the building, there's 3 lift rides to get there. It's like going on the subway. It's like taking 3 subway trains to get to work in the morning.
In terms of comparison, you could almost compare it to a town like Bath.
It's an enormous building. I mean, you look at a big building, you think of Canary Wharf. Canary Wharf is a third or a quarter of the size. And there are 2 of these things.
Melissa Barrington Hughes has just arrived for a business conference in the South Tower.
People going into the World Trade Center in the morning would have expected an ordinary day at work. Their minds had been full of the fact that they had to answer their emails, that they had to do deals, that they had to talk to clients, that they had chores to do before they got back home.
7:45, 200 miles away at Boston Airport, Captain John Ogonowski is waiting for his passengers to board flight AA-11 to Los Angeles. Among them is Dave Angel, creator of the television series Frasier, returning from holiday in Cape Cod. Across the tarmac, United Airlines Flight 175 is boarding. Among the passengers, Ruth McCourt and her 4-year-old daughter, Juliana, traveling to Los Angeles. But John, Dave, Ruth and Juliana's planes are all being boarded undetected by terrorists. These hijackers are on a mission without precedent, a mission that will change the world forever. While President George Bush is visiting children at a school in Florida, the 2 LA-bound Boston planes have veered from their scheduled route and have inexplicably diverted to New York. Across the Atlantic in the City of London, it's been a busy morning. Dealers are braced for the New York markets to open, had a chance to speak to their transatlantic counterparts.
We were waiting for our colleagues to tell us what trading was like on the stock exchange at the opening. We were waiting for the opening bell.
In Manhattan, firemen are making a routine check on a hydrant. American Airlines Flight 11 has crashed into the World Trade Center, gleaming symbol of Western capitalism. It appears to be an appalling accident. The president is notified. The world starts to tune in to live feeds from New York of these pictures.
After the first frisson of excitement of seeing a breaking story like that, there's the realization that our friends and colleagues were in the building. The plane hits about the 80th floor, and our bureau in New York is on the 52nd floor. Somebody said, that's all right, they're 30 floors below. But then somebody else pointed out that that's only 300 feet. And I don't think anybody would like to be 300 feet away from a plane crash.
Oh, shit!
We tried to raise them on the telephone, we tried to raise them by instant messenger, we tried to raise them by email, we rang their mobiles, we couldn't get hold of them at all, we had no idea what had happened to them.
As people struggle to comprehend, 18 minutes later, the unthinkable happens a second time.
What's this other jet doing? What's this other jet doing? Oh. Oh my God! Planes exploded out the front of the World Trade Center. Glass flew everywhere.
Cameras and camcorders pointed at the stricken building record the impact from every angle, images no one will ever forget.
Oh my God!
This is no accident. Terrorists have stage managed the scene with theatrical relish.
Oh, another one just hit. Something else just hit. A very large plane just flew directly over my building, and there's been another collision. Can you see it? I can see it on this shot.
Mass murder has been committed in front of the entire world.
I'm across the street from the Marriott, man. A second airplane, a 727, just ran into the building.
The United States of America is under attack from its own aircraft. This time, United Airlines Flight 175 used by terrorists as a flying bomb, targeted at the South Tower.
I was just standing here watching the World Trade Center after the first plane hit. I just saw a second plane come in from the south and hit the South Tower, halfway between the bottom and the top of the tower. It's got to be a terrorist attack. I can't tell you anything more than that. I saw the plane hit the building.
No one knows who would do this, and no one knows how many other aircraft might be heading for other targets. Back in Florida, the president is told of the second crash. Even as he reels from the news, the FBI is hearing reports that the aircraft were under the control of hijackers. In the devastation, the day's first casualties, including passengers and crew from both aircraft. Among them, Captain John Ogonowski, who leaves a wife and 3 children. Dave Angel, 6 times Emmy Award-winning producer. And Ruth McCourt, with her daughter Juliana, aged 4. Meanwhile, inside the stricken towers, people are still alive.
I was at work, and the ladies, some of the ladies who I work with, said there had been an aeroplane that had flown into the World Trade Center, and knowing that I have family who live and work or go over to New York for business, I became somewhat concerned.
But some of the survivors are being evacuated. These extraordinary images are captured inside the Twin Towers as people make their way down endless staircases.
Typically in high-rise buildings, you have an evacuation process which involves evacuating the fire floor, the floor above, and several of the floors below. So typically you may have 5 floors being evacuated. You don't generally find people running around and panicking in the classic sense of panic, which is behaving in an irrational manner and in a self-destructive manner. In a lot of these emergency situations, people behave in a very rational way.
The pictures reveal the bravery of the emergency services, who have risked their lives by entering a perilous building to assist the evacuation. One firefighter captures it all on film. Tara's brother Rory is one of the lucky ones.
My phone went, and it was my mother to say that my brother was all right. He was out, he wasn't in the building. He literally apparently just left the building, and he was all right and he was alive. And I think I probably started to cry. He said it was just one of the worst things he'd ever seen. He said it was like someone was cutting your arm off. You didn't feel the pain, but you just saw it happening.
Conditions inside the towers are desperate.
The fire would have been hotter inside the building than towards the perimeter where the heat could escape. And slowly, over the unfolding minutes, the temperature built up around those columns which had had the fire protection stripped off them, and caused those columns to get hotter and hotter.
As the inside becomes a furnace, people cling precariously to the outside of the building 1,000 feet above the ground.
We know from, for example, some of the people who survived Piper Alpha, how you think. Eventually, you make a choice of absolutely impossible, deadly decisions, but some of them, many of them, decided to jump. Because that gave them, you might say, absurdly, some brief few seconds in which they weren't burning in a building.
And there was smoke everywhere, and people are jumping out the windows. Over there, they're jumping out the windows, I guess because they're trying to save themselves. I don't know.
There's people jumping out of windows. I've seen at least 14 people jumping out of windows. It's horrific. I can't believe this is happening.
We're in shock, really. It's a terrible thing that's happened, and I feel very bad in a way that I'm relieved that my family are all right when I know that others are going through terrible things.
Kenneth Van Auken is still trapped in the tower. He telephones his wife.
I love you. I'm in the World Trade Center. The building was hit by something. I don't know if I'm going to get out, but I love you very much. I hope I'll see you later. Bye.
Melissa Barrington Hughes is also trapped. All she can do is leave an answer phone message for her husband. These could be her last words.
Sean, it's me. I just wanted to let you know I love you, and I'm stuck in this building in New York. A plane hit the building or a bomb went off, we don't know, but there's lots of smoke, and I just wanted you to know that I love you.
Jamie, how do you cook spag bowl? I've got this Italian bird coming round.
Spag bowl's about as Italian as Big Ben. Where's she from?
Sicily.
Right, get yourself down Sainsbury's. They've got some new Italian stuff in.
Over 100 authentic regional Italian products from Sainsbury's.
Make sure you get Sicilian lemons, yeah? What you want to do is just grate some parmesan.
Hang on.
Just a bit of extra virgin on top.
Drizzle.
Drizzle means pour, you muppet. Need any more help here, mate?
I think I can handle this bit, thanks.
Sainsbury's, making life taste better.
You'll see colours that are dramatic and evocative at Tate Britain. Colours taken from life. You'll also find them amongst B&Q's huge range of paints. The Tate collection. Colours to inspire you. Colours that complement each other so you can get the look you want for the life you lead.
Get the colours from life. For your life. Only at B&Q.
You can do it when you B&Q it.
Can I buy you a drink?
Actually, I'd rather have the cash.
Beware, the real coffee taste of Kenko Rapport may bring out the real you.
They hate us, you know. The humans. They made us too smart, too quick, and too many.
The most astonishing film of the year. 5 stars.
Remember, we are only demolishing artificiality.
We are suffering for the mistakes they made because when the end comes, all that will be left is us.
It's sheer Spielberg. Advance preview Sunday, September 16.
Two aircraft have struck the World Trade Center with devastating consequences and massive loss of life. What everyone fears is that the sky is filled with hijacked aircraft primed to kill. Where are they? Where are they heading? Who will be their next target? American Airlines Flight 77 from Dulles Airport has already been seized. The captain, Charles Burlingame, has been lured out of his cockpit by terrorists armed with knives. Among his passengers, a television presenter, Barbara Olson. Also, Professor Leslie Whittington, traveling with her family en route to Australia. Their plane took off for LA, but the hijackers diverted to Washington by a roundabout route so events can unfold with maximum impact. At 9:38, American Airlines Flight 77 from Dulles crashes into a helicopter landing pad at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. It partially demolishes a wing of the world's most powerful building, the nerve center of America's military planning. It was supposed to be invincible, but unbelievably, there's yet another scene of confusion and terror. And an assault on one of America's most sensitive and fortified buildings. Again, large numbers of people work there, 24,000 government employees. Many are feared dead.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Not just for my convenience, but for probably the hundreds of people that have already died. It's shocking.
As long as we're going to let people off the hook in the Mideast, Iraq, Iran, and places like that, when they blow up buildings in Beirut and places like that, if we don't take a strong stand, this is going to continue.
Minutes later, the White House is evacuated. The First Lady and the President's children are removed to an undisclosed secure location. The Vice President, National Security Advisor, and congressional leaders are all taken to protected facilities. And for the first time ever, all United States airports are shut down. American airspace is closed, except to U.S. Air Force jets, which have been scrambled to patrol the skies. It's 9:49 in the morning. America is in shock. No one has any idea how many people have died, and everyone fears another attack. But what no one expects, including the firefighter who's been filming the evacuation inside the building, is what happens next.
We took a breath here to, see if there was anything else going on, and then we suddenly heard this rumble, which you may hear on the tape, and it scared me to death. And that was it. We just bolted. The 60 pounds of gear I had on me weighed nothing. We just flew out of there, scared to death.
The South Tower of the World Trade Center, the second to be hit, has gone.
She doesn't want to talk to anybody right now.
There's speculation that up to 20,000 people may have been inside, including hundreds of firefighters and police officers who've gone in to help.
As I looked at it, I sort of hoped that it would stop, and felt that the first moment of collapse was going to sort of was going to be all that happened. But then you saw the next floor happen, and then you saw it begin to accelerate, and you realised it was beyond control.
Everybody knows somebody who works in the World Trade Center, and everybody knows somebody, or everybody knows somebody who has disappeared.
Meanwhile, another plane has disappeared. The 3 aircraft hijacked so far have crashed into densely populated buildings. But though United Airlines Flight 93 from Newark has also been hijacked, its fate will be quite different. Among the passengers are Mark Bingham, on his way to a business meeting in San Francisco, and Thomas Burnett, Senior Vice President of a medical research company.
Hijackers would have frightened everyone on that plane, slashed at people, threatened them, and very soon the majority would have sat there very frightened, because what was happening was not what they expected.
What you had here was, according to the telephone calls that we've seen reported, is hijackers getting out of their seats within minutes of takeoff and beginning to attack the cabin crew, beginning to stab them, beginning to kill them. This is happening, and the pilots will know what is going on. Now, you can say the door should be locked, the door should not have been opened, but if you have got your friends and your colleagues being murdered in earshot, what are you to do?
United Airlines Flight 93 crashes 80 miles southeast of Pittsburgh, the only plane not to have hit its target.
And I heard a loud noise, and I happened to look up, and it was a plane. It was real low to me. It sounded like it was running fine to me. I just kept watching. I watched it go nosedive straight into the ground.
You could see where the plane had made the initial impact in the ground, and it was still on fire. It made a crater probably 30 feet by 30 feet, and it's probably 15 or 20 feet deep, and there's just debris scattered within probably a half-a-mile radius.
All 45 people on board are killed, but not before many have been ordered by hijackers to make one last phone call.
Because of mobile phones, which work even in planes, we have lots of people now contacting, asking for advice, trying to understand what to do. But it's almost impossible for the people who receive the calls to know how to respond. So we're probably going to have a new burden of guilt and worry about what people would have liked to have said when these last frantic calls came in, which initially they must have found very difficult to comprehend.
One of those making a call was Mark, who phoned his mother and aunt in San Francisco.
He just said, I want to let you all know that I love you very, very much in case I don't see you again.
I said that?
That the plane has been taken over by hijackers. And then I said, well, we love you very much too, Mark. Let me go get your mother.
He said, I want you to know I love you very much, and I'm calling you from the plane. We've been taken over. There are 3 men that say they have a bomb. And I said, well, who are they, Mark? And he repeated that he loved me, and he said, I don't think he said, I don't know who they are. He became distracted there.
We've heard that apparently from phone calls, a group got together and took a vote whilst on the plane as to whether they should try and overcome the hostage takers. I think that's extraordinary because it must have required so much courage, and yet at the same time it's a very heartwarming story about democracy, about people together deciding to risk their lives in order to try and save everyone else.
Their actions may have saved thousands of lives. Back in New York, the final and most appalling scene of destruction.
Looks like a lot of them were either on the floor of one of the exchanges. There's actually, oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
don't know. I came down. I'm alive.
Where
I just
were
want to
you?
know if my wife is alive. I was on 82.
82?
Yeah.
How'd you come down the stairs?
Stairs.
What was that like? Panic?
No, it was calm until I got down. Then the top came down.
Don't worry, don't worry. Come on, where's your...
I was on the 36th floor of Building 1, and all of a sudden it was like an earthquake. Just shook, the building was shaking, then I saw chunks of debris just falling down because I was close to the window. It was unbelievable.
I got trapped under there when another guy crawled out, kept getting hit in the head, had bags thrown around. Finally, we clawed our way out over the rubble.
Yeah.
Come on down. We did all right.
All right, way to be, Tom. Let's go.
Dr. Mark Heath, a medic who's rushed in to help victims in the South Tower, is himself caught out as the North Tower cascades his way.
I hope I live. I hope I live. It's coming down on me. Here it comes. I'm getting behind a car. It's incredible. Okay, I'm gonna have to go find people who need help, because I don't think I'm one of them. You okay, sir? Okay. Can I just get a toot off your respirator? Yeah. Can I get a toot? I'm just getting a couple of clean breaths. That's good. Okay. Back to you. This is the car I hid behind. It saved my life.
Yeah, Mike! Mike! Mike, come over here! Yeah!
Anybody need a doctor?
Where are you?
Don't have oxygen.
Hello, Doc.
Hey, that guy needs some oxygen if someone can share it with him.
10-4.
Thanks.
New York City now resembles a wasteland. Buildings teeter on the brink of collapse. At 5:30, the 47-story offices of Salomon Brothers are next to go. Ten hours after the first attack, the president finally returns to the White House.
Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts. The victims were in airplanes or in their offices, secretaries, businessmen and women, military and federal workers, moms and dads, friends and neighbors. Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror. These acts of mass murder were intended to frighten our nation into chaos and retreat. But they have failed. Our country is strong. Today, our nation saw evil, the very worst of human nature, and we responded with the best of America.
As Bush addresses the nation from Washington, in New York, the emergency services continue the massive rescue operation. Firefighters, medics, and construction workers flood in to help with the desperate search for survivors. Among the missing, over 300 firefighters who had been so quick in answering the first emergency calls at the World Trade Center, now among the many buried beneath the rubble.
People are doing everything that they can to rescue as many people as possible, and this is going to be a long-term effort. So I just wanted to make sure that everything is here that could be here, and it is. So we just pray to God that we can save a few people.
As the enormity of events sink in, world leaders line up in solidarity.
The full horror of what has happened in the United States earlier today is now becoming clearer. It is hard even to contemplate the utter carnage and terror which has engulfed so many innocent people.
Even Russia, America's old Cold War adversary, rallies in support. And on the West Bank, a visibly shaken Yasser Arafat condemns the terrorist action.
Completely shocked. Completely shocked. Unbelievable.
But the Palestinian leader doesn't quite speak for all of his people.
This is a day when all Americans from every walk of life unite in our resolve for justice and peace. America has stood down enemies before, and we will do so this time. None of us will ever forget this day, yet we go forward to defend freedom and all that is good and just in our world. Thank you, good night, and God bless America.
Vince,
Yeah?
why do they make baby clothes white when baby food is orange?
I'll tell you what you should do.
What?
Well, if he keeps making a mess,
Yeah.
only give him white food.
Introducing new Ariel Non-Bio Liquitabs. Its unique Pure Clean system means Ariel Non-Bio loves stains, and it's dermatologically tested.
Dinner's ready.
Brilliant cleaning from a non-bio Ariel. That's another load off your mind.
We told you it's full, mate.
Is it the chocolate chunks? They've got ID.
Do you understand English? We are full.
Oh, have you got a problem with chocolate?
The club is full, mate.
If Mini Bits can pack so many chocolate chunks into something as small as these whole wheat biscuits, I think you can fit us into your disco. Charge! Get your hands off me. Oh, fantastic.
Mini Bix with chocolate. Mighty taste. Mini whole wheat biscuit.
Dolmio's new recipe for bolognese is bursting with sun-ripened tomatoes, real Italian olive oil, parsley and basil.
Ti prendo un tovagliolo. Stai fermo, eh?
Now the taste is even better. So delicious, you won't want to waste a drop. New Dolmio Bolognese. You won't want to waste a drop.
Here's my dilemma. She wants a mobile access website as unique as her clothing. I don't think that's humanly possible. Wait, it gets better. 7 different buyers put 8 different wireless devices on the table, and they all have to interface with our database. The job is almost uglier than that fabric. But hey, if she can sell those clothes, I can make our database talk to a toaster.
You can accomplish anything, even mobile computing. Fujitsu, the possibilities are infinite.
Wednesday, September the 12th. The morning after the night before. The skyline of New York is scarred forever. The financial district of Manhattan is utterly devastated. Thousands upon thousands of people are missing, presumed dead.
It's like searching for a needle in a haystack at this point. It really is. And I'm just praying that everything's going to be fine. He's a very strong kid, and he's a very loving person, and they didn't. So we're just hoping we'll find him.
Around 1,500 emergency workers begin digging through more than 1 million tons of rubble.
He wants
was in the building, 98th floor. She's always early. I don't know if she got there before this. We don't know.
Mayor Giuliani orders 6,000 body bags.
He's 22 years old, and he was working on the World Trade Center and Windows on the World. He called his parents at 9 a.m. Right after the first plane hit the building. The line was then disconnected.
Everyone's calling, and everyone wants to look for him, and I have to say my friends are being very supportive, and thank God for them.
We do believe that there are still people alive in the rubble. There have been some indications of cell phone communications. Late last night, 2 Port Authority police officers were taken from the rubble alive and were saved.
But overall, the news isn't good. Rescuers working through the half-mile radius of debris find just a handful of survivors. By 11:30, 9 people have been found alive, 6 firefighters and 3 police officers.
The staff, as unfortunately, was anticipating and hoping that we would receive survivors during the night, and I think everyone was very disappointed that we did not.
For most of the relatives and friends of the thousands of missing people, the best they can hope for is not that their loved one is found alive, but that they're found at all.
We have the gruesome and horrible situation that in many cases we recover only parts of bodies, and we have 70 in that category. So there's 94 bodies, 70 body parts, and I'm sorry that I have to describe it that way, but that's unfortunately the situation that we're facing.
It's much harder to mourn when you don't have a body. So this will be one of the hardest tasks, and of course it'll involve another group of people in the possibilities of being traumatized through body recovery work. So incredible. The only positive here is that people know nationally and internationally what happened. This will not be a forgotten disaster, and that will be a small solace to people who will be otherwise very, very heavily grieving.
"200 miles south of New York, and the death toll is mounting at the Pentagon. Already 190 bodies have been found, including that of a 3-star general. President Bush pays a visit to the rescue teams.
Coming here makes me sad on the one hand. It also makes me angry. And our country will, however, not be cowed.
With FBI agents in Washington, Pittsburgh and New York trawling the crime scenes for evidence, the race is now on to bring the perpetrators to justice. But who could carry out such a violent, destructive and suicidal act?
America is seen as the great Satan by many in the Muslim world, partly because of its support for Israel as is perceived, partly also because of its dominance in power, which allows it to bomb, seemingly with impunity, states such as Iraq, Sudan, Afghanistan, Serbia. And it is felt that any means of striking back against this dominant hegemonic power is legitimate.
The thing about this attack is it's been possible for decades, but nobody has contemplated doing it before. Nobody has really set out to do something like this. So for a group of individuals to so move away from established norms of behaviour, even terrorist behaviour, traditionally terrorists have actually been quite worried about causing mass amounts of casualties because it actually loses them support.
The key signatures of this sort of group are those which can be summed up in the phrase of new terrorism. The characteristics are a willingness to cause utterly undiscriminate mass casualties against civilian targets, the fact that they don't claim responsibility, and the fact that they have no direct political aim. They are not, for example, trying to force the US to withdraw troops from somewhere or to raise ransom money. What they're trying to do is actually undermine American power and prestige as a whole.
These are increasingly religious groups who do not see death as the problem that we do, because they see it as the beginning of a journey rather than the end of a journey.
So who are the new terrorists? Over the days since the attack, one prime suspect has emerged. Just one person who has the sheer audacity and fearlessness to take on the United States of America.
The person whose rhetoric would lead one to suspect that he is involved in this, as we suspect he has been in the past in similar incidents, is the Saudi bin Laden, Osama bin Laden, who is based, of course, in Afghanistan.
Osama bin Laden is the wealthy figurehead of the Al-Qaeda group, pledged to destroy America and the Jews. For the past 5 years, he's been the guest of the Muslim fundamentalist Taliban regime in Afghanistan. It's from there he runs his notorious terrorist training camps, creating a virtual army of men who are prepared to do anything for their cause.
It's too early to jump to conclusions. It's very hard to get away from the conclusion that some of the bin Laden and the groups associated with him fit the modus operandi very closely.
Bin Laden and his followers have got their fingerprints all over some of the most brutal and symbolic terrorist acts against America. 1993, and the World Trade Center was already a favored target of Islamic fundamentalists. Bin Laden associate Ramzi Youssef is now in prison for bombing the building and killing 6 people. Youssef has also been found guilty of plotting to hijack 12 US airliners. Were these rehearsals for this week's atrocity? 1998, and another coordinated campaign against American interests. Bin Laden is thought to have backed the twin bombings of the US embassies in Kenya and Tanzania. Almost 300 people died, most of them locals. October 2000, 17 American sailors were killed when a suicide bomber attacked the USS Cole. Bin Laden was thought to be behind the attack. As thousands of Americans rushed to give blood in the wake of Tuesday's outrage, the new reality of the 21st century is sinking in. American citizens are now top terrorist targets.
Generally, when people get bombed, they feel more unified, they come together, and they respond magnificently. America has had very little experience of this, so I think there's going to be a profound shock. They're going to have to learn a history lesson very, very quickly.
Through the tears of sadness, I see an opportunity. Make no mistake about it, this nation is sad. But we're also tough and resolute. And now's an opportunity to do generations a favor by coming together and whipping terrorism, hunting it down, finding it, and holding them accountable.
Generally, after every disaster, people look for heroes and villains. And of course, with the villains, one wants to try and punish them as quickly as possible to try and purge oneself of all these dreadful images and emotions after the event. There's a risk that people will want a quick retribution against anyone just to make them feel better.
I'm a loving guy. And I'm also someone, however, who's got a job to do. And I intend to do it. And this is a terrible moment. But this country will not relent until we have saved ourselves and others from the terrible tragedy that came upon America.
Thank you.
I would want to say to President Bush, take your finger off the trigger for the moment. It's going to be extremely tempting and politically very attractive to react quickly with retaliatory action. My fear is that a quick reaction won't be as an effective one as a more considered reaction based on good evidence, where the international community is on side and in agreement, and where you're clear that you've actually discovered the correct people to actually be trying to extract justice from.
The measures which have been announced so far are, I think, exactly right. The focus immediately is on condemnation of the attacks, security to make sure that there's no follow-ups, that the same thing doesn't happen again, because we're never sure that this is the end of the multiple attacks. Intelligence work to find out what happened, who was responsible particularly, And then, when that group or individual or even state is identified, justice and retribution, including, if necessary, attacks on states which harbour such individuals, whether or not they themselves were directly involved.
This was the most devastating and shocking act of terror the world has ever known. Thousands of lives have been taken. Hundreds of thousands have lost their loved ones.
When those two planes went into those buildings, that is a moment that everybody in America will remember. In fact, everybody in the world will remember it, and people will never forget it.
People are jumping out the windows. Over there, they're jumping out the
People are extraordinarily resilient, but 30–40% of those who escaped might expect psychological reactions even several months after the event, and for some, perhaps half of that number, they may be permanent psychological problems.
There's actually, oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
We're not sure exactly what happened, but it was another explosion on the far side of one of the buildings from where we're standing. The entire top of the building just collapsed. You can see the plume of smoke is coming in our direction. Let's get out of here, Ralph.
It's impossible to assess the level of talent and expertise which has just disappeared from the financial markets in New York. And thousands of these people are now dead. There's a big hole in the bottom end of Manhattan, which isn't just a physical hole, it's a huge hole in the day-to-day business of the world economy. You know, everybody's talking about this sparking a recession.
The risk, I think, is of a growing embroilment and indeed war between America and the West on the one hand, and elements of the Muslim world, the most fanatic elements of the Muslim world, on the other. That's the real risk.
3 days on, and no one knows what the aftershocks of this terrible event will be. But one thing is certain. On September the 11th, 2001, the world changed forever.